Farm Bureau Insurance wants you to join us for a concert in Virginia Beach this season. We're giving away 2 premium seats, VIP parking, and VIP club passes to every concert this year. Register now online at farmbureaulive.com.
Well, thanks everybody for being here and showing interest. We're obviously very excited about moving forward and getting to work and getting down to San Antonio to play Kansas. This is a tremendous accomplishment for us, and we hope that we can kind of justify that and go down there and play as well as possible in San Antonio against a great team. Well, I couldn't overstate how much Kevin Anderson has meant to our basketball program. He's been a great player really since the day he walked onto campus, and the highest compliment I think I can give any player is he plays his best when the game means the most. And for Kevin, that has been who he has been since the day he walked in. And he's handled himself in a great way on and off the floor, and he's been just a tremendous part of all of our success. We have done okay against Vanderbilt and against Morehead State, but Kansas, of course, presents a different problem because both of them are so good, so strong, so physical. And of course the guys off the bench are very, very good players too. So it's a little bit different playing against 2 guys, and the Kansas guys are also much more versatile. They can play on the perimeter. They do their best work inside, but they can play on the perimeter. And Kansas is also probably the most committed team that I've seen at throwing the ball inside. So that's something that really changes how you're going to attack it too. In some cases, you can go and try to keep the ball out of the post as best you can. With Kansas, they'll throw the ball back and forth so much that eventually the ball will get down there. So we'll have our hands full as all of their opponents have, but we'll also try to be just be as physical as we can and pay as much attention as possible to those 2 players. Well, to be honest, it's not as difficult as you might think. If I gave an example yesterday that if there are 100 articles on the internet about a coach taking a job and the coach never turns his computer on, he never sees them. So if you can kind of ignore it, especially with everything that we have going on this week, the preparation for Kansas, the media, so the travel plans, all those things really take up a lot of time. So for the most part, we've stayed focused. I think our guys have been very good at staying focused, and for the most part, haven't paid much attention to it. Well, that's an interesting point. I had no idea it was that many, but I think it goes to show that we're a very good team, and a lot of the cases our wins were comfortable margins. I don't think it would hurt us that much. I think we played really well against Temple in a really close game. I thought we played very well and execution-wise against Vanderbilt in a very close and tough game with high stakes. So I don't necessarily think we would be at a disadvantage, especially against Kansas, since I'm sure they have more double-digit wins than we do. So, I don't foresee that as being a problem. Mainly because we're a good ball handling team. Because Kevin has been in so many situations like that. I don't anticipate that being a problem. It's a tremendous luxury. You don't have to worry about the first 2/3 of your offensive set, for example. With some teams, you might have to worry about how we're going to get the ball to the front court, and then how are we going to get into our offense. Those 2 things, are taken care of with Kevin, especially at this point in his career. So it's a luxury in that all you're worried about is now the last third of that. Who do you want to shoot the ball? What play do you want to run? And ultimately, where do you want the ball to be? Because Kevin can do all that work for you, and he usually takes care of the last third too. So it's really a luxury. Not easier, but it gives us something to a talking point. Like, hey, against Vanderbilt, this is what we really emphasize, and this is what we're going to have to do against Kansas. But Kansas is different, and they're a tremendous team, incredibly potent offensive team. They pass the ball extremely well. They have great players at every position. They have very versatile players who are, in my opinion, the most valuable. So they do push the ball, and there is a similarity to Vanderbilt. I just think they have that much more depth of great players at Kansas. To us, it means everything. And obviously, if the seniors weren't any good at basketball, it wouldn't mean that much. But they're very talented to begin with. And then it means so much because they have gone through difficult times during games, during weeks of the season. They have figured out how to pull themselves out of difficult times. They have played together. They have tried things that have worked and haven't worked. So all of those things make it smoother on the floor. When you're playing the game, when the ball goes up, they're locked in. They're not worried about as many. There aren't as many distractions for an upperclassman. So it's a tremendous advantage for us, and something that is, with the exception of talent, is by far the biggest reason we're here. I think there's far too much made of teams feeling disrespected and worrying about what media members say about them as they're critiquing their seed or whether they should be in the tournament or out. This is a tremendous accomplishment for the University of Richmond, our students and fans and alumni. And so I think to concern ourselves too much with what we perceive as disrespect would just trivialize the accomplishment. This is great, and it doesn't matter what number is in front of your name, and especially it doesn't matter when you're going to play Kansas, because you can be pretty sure what number is next to their name. So I just think I think it's not worthwhile to worry about it. No question about it. Darius has been such an incredibly valuable player for us over the last 2 years, but especially here in this stretch where when he's in the game, our defense goes from good to great, and that's going to be our biggest issue going into the game. Can we defend Kansas? How can we go about defending Kansas? And him being in the game is going to be a very big part of that. So he'll be out there and he'll be utilized as much as we possibly can. And I think he's playing at best basketball of his career right now. Yes, Coach Tarrant and I have gone back and forth via email as we have most of the season, but this last week we have. He's very excited. A lot of exclamation points in the email, and a lot of thoughts and ideas for what he is. Not just new ideas, but what he's seen from our team and what could be important against Kansas. So, Coach Tarrant is an incredibly sharp basketball mind, and somebody who I've always looked up to long before I got here, and it's great to have him so excited about Richmond basketball. I don't feel as much like the underdog as Kansas probably feels like the favorite. I understand that Kansas has been in this situation a lot more, and to some extent is supposed to win not just this game, but Sweet 16 games. But we have a lot of confidence in our players and in our program, and really mainly looking forward to playing the game. As I said, you can't escape the talk about the NCAA tournament, but for the most part, you can make it secondary, and that's what we've tried to do. Well, that is very complimentary. I think it has a lot more to do with our players than our style. As we've gotten better and better, we always feel like we have an advantage if the teams are worried about our style and they're not worried about Kevin Anderson and Justin Harper and Dan Giroux. And so I think it has more to do with our players, but I do think it says a lot about them that these people have watched college basketball. They see our games. They see how well we've executed, and they see how talented our guys are. And I hope that we do go down there and play really, really well because we're all confident that we can.